Good morning. So today I have someone who I admire very much who is working with one of the top companies and is on the pavement towards women empowerment. She is an experienced engineering manager with a Ph.D. in computer engineering and focuses on computer vision and machine learning. She has a lot of experience when it comes to tech. So let's welcome Nastaran on 10 Minutes of Hiding Wisdom, where she will tell us about how it is like to be a woman in the tech space. Because there's always this dilemma that men are better in this, which I clearly do not agree with, but let's hear from Nasrin herself, who will tell us about her experience working with one of the top companies in the world, which is Twitter. Hi, Nasrin, how are you doing today?
Hi, Minal. Thanks for having me. Doing wonderful, and it's great to hear from you. And your mission is inspiring. I think that what you said resonates with a lot of women. Like growing up, it's always been a battle between like women and men, like in engineering and other spaces. So it's definitely, I can tell you that things are much better, and I'm hopeful that we are going in the right direction. So it's exciting to be in the tech industry in today.
Of course it is. I'm just curious, how is it like working as a woman as an engineering manager at Twitter? Like, how do you think there is like, do you feel like there are subtle points of sexism that exist? I mean, of course, Twitter, I'm pretty sure there's not, but just want to hear from you, how is it like?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about my experience at Twitter. So it's been amazing. I think that a lot of, at least like visibly, a lot of companies do not say that we are not like culturally fit for women and male perspective. But in truth, when you go in, you may see like subtle discrepancies and like subtle sexisms. I have been very fortunate enough that I haven't seen that at Twitter. Culturally, I think that Twitter is putting a lot of effort in making sure that we have good opportunities both for female and male parts, and like diversity is like a great initiative at our company. And I have seen firsthand how much effort we are putting into making sure that we are inclusive, we are diverse enough, and we hear all voices. So it's been a great experience so far. Hopefully, it continues
Okay.
that way.
That sounds amazing, and I'm glad you're part of such a company that recognizes you for your talent rather than your gender, because a lot of companies usually are faced with a dilemma. But then, Nasran, I would love to hear, because you've been in the tech space for quite a while. What is some advice that you have for women who want to pursue a career in tech but are usually intimidated, where they're like, no, we should go towards nursing, because usually there's this family pressure when you come from a patriarchal country. So, what exactly would your advice be for such women?
I would say don't be discouraged, and believe in yourself, and things can happen. Things are much better, and it's due to all the women with their hard work and like not being discouraged by like a male dominant space. It's I can tell you, like when I started in this industry, I was a lot of times I was the only woman in the room. I was like always like intimidated to speak up or say my opinion, or like when I said something that a male colleague just repeated what I said, and then they would get credit for it. But things are changing, and if we don't do anything about it, then they don't change in the right way. So just don't be discouraged, and know that there's a lot of support out there, especially today in this age that like we are virtually all connected. You can get a lot of support, and there's a lot of like organizations that support women or other minorities. And it's been a great experience for me. I can tell you, like within the past 15 years, I have seen major changes in the industry.
What we're hearing from you, Nasran, considering you're working for one of the top companies, I'm pretty sure we can trust you and your word.
Thank
And
you.
Nasran, I'd love to hear. So you're working at Twitter. How was your journey? How did you end up at Twitter? How was your journey like when it comes to onboarding with such a big company?
Believe it or not, I joined Twitter during COVID.
Oh wow, okay.
Uh, so it's been a whole virtual experience so far, and I was really worried at the beginning that I'm not gonna meet anyone in like physically meet anyone, and how hard it's going to be. But it's been like everyone is going out of their way to make it a pleasant experience, which is really nice. So I have done a lot of machine learning and computer vision applications throughout my career, different applications, but like ads and social media is new to me. And it was during COVID that I realized that I want to work somewhere where it doesn't require like being physically somewhere. Like we can make people connected and communicate better. And I was always a fan of Twitter because I believe in their mission. I believe that like words have a huge impact on people, and it's really important to make sure that people are connected, even though like people live at totally different places in the world. So I joined Twitter with that in mind, and I was at the beginning worried about the physical aspect missing, but it's been a great experience. I'm like, there are obviously there are challenges with like video talks every day and not seeing people actually like seeing people, but at the same time it's amazing how like in these past 2 years we are connected. We have members throughout the country and like all around the world. So like we collaborate with people from like Asia, India, um, Europe, and it's like we are all in the same room. So this has been amazing.
That sounds amazing. I think when I speak to my parents about how meetings are being held virtual and everything, they're like, "You're lucky," because at first we had to write letters and we didn't know when they were going to get to them, like the other person, and we had to wait for like 3 to 4 months before we actually got a reply. So yes, we are interconnected more than ever, but I think a lot of people just miss the physical aspect of it because it's always nice being around people. But I think something's better than nothing, and I'm pretty sure technology will take us to eventually a place where we won't even need to be there. So I'm not even surprised at this point, honestly. Tesla driving cars on their own and everything. It's interesting. But I thank you for sharing that. And Nasran, I would like to hear about your interview process. So when you were onboarding during the COVID and everything, what was your onboarding process like? What were the interviews that you went through and everything so that people who are interested in applying for Twitter could understand how it's like?
Sure. So because of I think that because of the unique situation of COVID, we are very graceful in a sense that we like accept applications from anywhere around the world. Like people can apply, though like we don't have like a physical presence anywhere right now. So it's in that sense it's very open for people to apply, and you can reach out to like hiring managers on LinkedIn or recruiters or like job postings that we have like several blogs for. So once you apply and once you get connected through a recruiter, the first step is just like to chat with the recruiter or the hiring manager to understand what you're looking for. And usually, since we are hiring for a lot of roles, even if that specific role is not a perfect match, there's always referral and like referring to another hiring manager or another org that might be interested in that profile. So once that is done, there's like usually a technical phone screening, which is before the on-site like, or virtual on-site in these days interview. So once that candidate passes the technical phone screening, which is like based on their background, if they're like a software engineer or like a machine learning engineer or data scientist, whatever their background is. And so they'll be given some information to get just like to prepare for the interview and do the technical phone screening. And once that is done, this is where we have the virtual onsite. And the virtual onsite is composed of like a mix of behavioral questions and technical skills. So just like assessing the candidate on their technical background and some like common sense on their behavioral aspects like communication, like how they hold themselves, and things that are just like first impression that you can get. And once that on-site in virtual interview is done, then there's like a huddle of all the interviewers. They gather in a virtual room and decide whether like they give their votes and decide whether that candidate is a good fit. And there are times that like people decide that that candidate might not be the perfect fit for that team, but there are other teams that might be interested, so they will differ even internally. And once that decision is made, we'll let the candidate know, and hopefully, if it's good news, then we'll work on an
Well,
offer.
here we are, Nastaran, with you. It worked out for you. They liked you. They put you in. They voted for you, and now you're working for one of the top companies in the world. So
Thank
congratulations on
you.
that. But Nasran, that is all for today. It was an absolute pleasure having you. I admire you so much, specifically because you're working in the tech space for one of the top companies in the world. And I hope you pave the way for women out there who want to pursue a career in machine learning, specifically engineer. But thank you so much, Nasran. I hope you have a fantastic time for with Twitter as long as you work with them. And I wish you all the future success.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure speaking with you today, and good luck to
Thank
everyone
you.
out there who's looking for a job.
Thank you.